The steam from the kettle rose like a sigh, curling around the faded daisy print curtains in my cramped kitchen. It was the kind of morning that promised perfection. Birds chattering outside the window of my one-bedroom apartment, the sun filtering through in golden shafts that danced across the chipped formica counter. I'd been up since 5 a.m., sleeves rolled up, elbow deep in a bowl of batter for Sophia's favorite lemon chiffon cake. The recipe was etched into my soul, passed down from my own mother, who'd baked it for my wedding, the one that ended in a quiet divorce 5 years later. Sophia had begged for it last week. Mom, it has to be your cake. The one from when I was little. Tradition. Her eyes had sparkled then, over video call from the vineyard where she and Alex were finalizing the seating chart. Tradition. The word tasted like honey and heartache, a reminder of all the rituals I'd clung to, hoping they'd stitch our fraying bond back together. At 42, Sophia was a force, tall and luminous, with my dark curls tamed into beach waves and Alex's easy confidence lighting up her smile. She'd landed a junior role at a flashy ad agency in the city, the kind where everyone wore sneakers with suits and talked about disrupting the narrative. Alex, her fiancé, was the tech bro archetype startup founder, perpetual 5 o'clock shadow, and a laugh that filled rooms but never quite reached his eyes when he looked at me. They'd met at a networking event 2 years ago, bonded over craft IPAs and shared dreams of escaping the grind. The wedding, it was their manifesto, a 150,000 declaration of love scripted on Pinterest boards and Excel spreadsheets. I'd been the silent financier, dipping into my modest inheritance and retirement scraps to make it real. It's our forever, Mom, she'd said, hugging me tightly during the engagement party. And you're part of it. The phone buzzed against the granite, once, twice, insistent as a heartbeat. I glanced at the screen, Sophia calling. My flour-dusted hands hesitated. She'd been distant lately, texts shorter, calls rarer. Wedding stress, she'd explained last month, when I asked why she skipped our usual Sunday brunch. Alex says we need space to focus. Space. The word had lodged in my chest like a pebble, but I'd nodded, smiled, baked her blueberry scones anyway, and dropped them at their door with a note: fuel for the dreamers. Love, Mom. I wiped my hands on my apron, the one with the embroidered sunflowers she'd given me for Mother's Day 3 years ago, and answered. Sophia, honey, everything okay? The cake's rising beautifully. I'll have it boxed up soon. A beat of static, then her voice, clipped and distant, like she was calling from a mountaintop instead of the bridal suite at the vineyard. In the background, laughter, high-pitched, bubbly, the bridesmaids no doubt, clinking glasses of mimosa. Mom, yeah. About that we need to talk. My pulse quickened. Talks like this were landmines. 6 months ago it had been the invitations, cream cardstock embossed gold, but I'd suggested adding a line about RSVPs via email. For the older folks. She'd snapped, Mom, no one's faxing you. This isn't 1995. I'd laughed it off, reordered them overnight. Before that, the dress fitting. Her in that flowing lace number from Milan, me misty, eyed in the mirror, whispering, you look like an angel. She'd pulled away, eyes narrowing. It's my dress, Mom, not a hand-me-down memory. I'd swallowed the lump in my throat, paid the alterations bill, and driven home alone, radio off to avoid the sappy ballads. Talk about what, sweetheart? I leaned against the counter, forcing warmth into my tone, the way I used to when she'd wake from nightmares as a girl, crawling into my bed with tear-streaked cheeks. The rehearsal. I can swing by early if you need help with. No. Her interruption was a door slamming. Actually, Mom, do you want to give me a gift? Like a real one. Before tomorrow. A gift. My mind raced through the checklist: the pearl necklace from Grandma Ellis, restrung just last week, the custom monogrammed robe for a getting-ready suite, the vintage locket with our baby photo inside, tucked into her something old basket. Of course, baby. Name it. A spa day post, honeymoon, or that leather-bound planner you've been eyeing. Her laugh sliced through, hollow, edged with something darker than exhaustion. It wasn't the giggle from her engagement shoot. All wind, swept fields and stolen kisses. This was the laugh she'd honed in therapy sessions I'd paid for. The one that said, I see you, and I'm done pretending. Get out of my life, Mom. You're the worst mother ever. The world tilted. The spoon slipped from my grip, clattering into the sink like a gunshot. Air whooshed from my lungs, leaving a vacuum where words should have been. Sophia, what did you just... You heard me. Her voice cracked, a fissure in the armor, but she patched it quick with fury. God, where do I even start? You've been this shadow my whole life. Hovering, controlling, turning everything into your story. Dad's funeral. You sobbed through the eulogy like it was your tragedy, not his. Made me comfort you while I buried my father. And college. You pushed that community school because we can't afford more. But you could have. You chose your sad, sack librarian job over sacrificing for me. Now this wedding, it's supposed to be mine, our escape, and you're everywhere. Criticizing the cake flavors, rearranging the flowers, texting Elena at midnight about napkin folds. Alex says you're toxic, Mom, suffocating us. My friends whisper about it, the clingy mom who won't let go. Just disappear, that's the gift I want. No more calls, no more traditions. Go, the line went silent, click. Gone. I slid to the floor back against the cabinets, the cool linoleum pressing through my jeans. Worst mother ever. The phrase looped, a cruel mantra, dredging up the ghosts I'd buried deep. Flashback to Sophia at 8. Her first ballot recital, tiny tutu, stage fright freezing her mid-pirouette. I'd rush backstage, scooping her into my arms, whispering, "You're my star, always." But later, in the car, she'd wailed, "You embarrass me, Mom." Everyone saw. I'd pulled over, hugged the steering wheel, and driven home in tears, vowing to fade into the background. Or 16, prom night I'd sewn her dress from a pattern, midnight oil burning as the machine whirred. She emerged radiant, but at the door, with Jake the quarterback waiting, she hissed, "It's scratchy. Why couldn't you just buy one like normal moms?" I'd smiled through the sting, waved her off, then sat alone with a bottle of Merlot, toasting to independence. Oars blurred. I finished the cake on autopilot, whipping the meringue until peaks formed like fragile hopes, folding in lemon zest that filled the air with citrus promise. It baked golden, cooled on a wire rack, the scent mocking my hollow chest. I boxed it meticulously, tied a satin ribbon in ivory, her colors, and drove the hour to the vineyard. The estate sprawled like a postcard, manicured lawns, rolling to a gazebo draped in tulle. Fairy lights twinkling even in daylight. Guests milled about for the rehearsal, Alex's tech buddies in polos, Sophia's art school crew in boho maxis. Elena, the planner, spotted me first, waving frantically. "Lydia!" "The cake, oh, it's perfect. Sophia's gonna love." I handed it over, my smile a mask. "Tell her, happy wedding eve." From the heart. No lingering. I turned, gravel crunching under my tires as I fled, radio blasting an oldie, "Stand by Your Man." Irony at its finest. Sleep evaded me that night. Curled on my thrift store couch, the apartment's walls closing in. Peeling wallpaper from the 70s, bookshelves sagging under paperbacks I'd devoured in lonely evenings. This place was a downgrade from the family home on Maple, the 4-bedroom colonial with the wraparound porch, where Sophia learned to ride her bike. Knees scraped and laughter echoing. I'd sold it 5 years ago, post-divorce, to cover her tuition at State University after community college. Wasn't cutting it. To a $320,000, every cent funneled into loans and dorm fees. "You're saving my future, Mom," she'd said then, kissing my cheek before jetting off to sorority rush. Now, that future included a bungalow on Elm Street, the one she'd and Alex snapped up last fall. Cozy craftsman, gingerbread trim, a yard for future kids. I'd co-sign the mortgage, $2,800 monthly, because their startup salaries were more promise than paycheck. Safety net, I'd called it. My name on the title, a quiet anchor. By 4 a.m., resolve hardened like cooling batter. She'd asked for a gift. Exactly as requested. No half measures. I brewed coffee, black and bitter, and pulled up my laptop. First email to Margaret, my realtor, the no-nonsense redhead who'd guided me through the Maple sale with brisk efficiency and bad coffee. Margaret, urgent. List the Elm bungalow. Cash only, quick close. Price aggressive, $450K, docs attached. Call me at 7, her reply pinned at 6:45, voice memo groggy but game. The wedding house. Honey, that's nuclear. List it. My voice was steel, unfamiliar even to me. She wants me gone. Starting now, by 80:30 photos uploaded. Sunlit kitchen with the farmhouse sink they'd Instagrammed. Master suite with the clawfoot tub. Staging. Barely needed. Their wedding registry halls filled it. La Crisette pots gleaming on open shelves, monogram throw pillows fluffed just so. Offers flooded by Levin. A tech couple from Seattle, relocating for Silicon Valley, Vibus at $455K. All cash, inspection waived, accepted. Closing Friday, post, I do, if there was one. Sophia's text lit up at noon, Mom. Rehearsal was kel cake was mazienji that's a million. Brunch tomorrow before haired makeup. Alex says I archived it, unread in spirit. Next, Elena, voice call. Her line picked up mid-sip of latte. The cake was a hit. Sophia's raving. What's up? Cancel it. Everything. The words tasted like ash. Venue, vendors, the works. Family emergency. Silence, then a gasp sharp as broken glass. Cancel. Tomorrow's the... Lydia, this isn't funny. Deposits are non-refundable past 24 hours. Sophia will murder me. Is this about the napkins again? I fixed them. No joke. Tell her it's my gift. She'll get it. I hung up, fingers trembling as I forwarded the ledger. Spreadsheets of every dime, 40K gown, down 20K, catering toy 7K, flowers 5K, photography total 87, 342 fund sue, receipts hyperlinked. Consider this your freedom fund returned. With interest none. The afternoon dissolved into frenzy. Margaret's update, buyers wired earnest money. Title search clean, your name's gold. Lydia. I packed the bungalow in a fever, my contributions unearthed it like buried treasures. The linen curtains I'd sewn, the herb garden starters in terracotta pots, the silver tea set from my wedding that I'd lent for the reception, boxes labeled Lydia's stacked by the door. The house, once buzzing with their vision boards and paint swatches, echoed now. Hollow footsteps on oak floors, the fridge humming solitude. Sophia's calls began at 3 p.m., escalating like a stroll. Mom? Elena just called. The venue's canceled. What the actual fuck? Call me! Voicemail 20, this is sabotage! Alex is livid. The guests are flying in. Undo it on the by Alex himself, Lydia, level. This crosses a line, we need to meet. Family mediation or legal? His mother, Barbara, a Botox, smooth socialite I'd only glimpsed at the engagement dinner, chimed in via email disgraceful. Ruining a young couple's joy for your petty grievances. We'll discuss reparations at the courthouse if needed. I let them pile, notification silenced. Instead, I drove to Elmonder, Twilight's bruise, purple sky. The bungalow waited, porch light flickering like a hesitant heartbeat. Inside, the air hung heavy with fresh paint and vanilla candles. Sophia's signature scent. I climbed to the attic, flashlight beam cutting dust motes, unearthing the box from behind pink insulation. There it was, the relic from her 16th birthday. That ill-fated sleepover where curiosity turned cruel. She'd rifled my nightstand, unearthed the diaries, spiral-bound confessions from my postpartum haze, when sleep deprivation and single mom terror had bled onto pages. March 12, 1983, she's screaming again. I wish I'd never had her, she's ruined my life. Who am I without this anchor dragging me down? I'd caught her mid-raid, friends snickering on the floor. Mom said she regrets you? Sophia head crowd, triumph and hurt warring in her eyes. I'd snatched the book, her face crumpling. It's not, honey, that's not me now. That was then. But the seed planted, weaponized in fights, hurled like grenades. See, you hate me. I'd burned the diaries that night, ashes swirling in the backyard fire pit under a harvest moon. But one page survived, the rawest, laminated in haste, then framed in thrift, store guilt as penance. A reminder, forgive yourself, Lydia. She'll never see the whole story. Now, it was poetry. Justice, served cold. Downstairs, living room bare save for ghost of last Christmas, when I'd strung lights and she'd snapped, Mom, we're adults now. No more kiddie stuff. The ghost of move-in day, me on my knees scrubbing baseboards, while they christened the master with laughter. I centered the frame on the hardwood, propping it against a wall where their gallery of engagement prints would hang. Spotlight the single bulb from the ceiling fan, casting long shadows. Note attached. Cursive deliberate, you wanted truth, here it is. Your wedding gift from the worst mother ever. The house, sold. Closing Friday, new owners take possession. Enjoy the honeymoon wherever it lands. P.S. Eat your heart out. Mum around it, a macabre altar. Crumpled, save the dates from the trash. Forever begins here. Gold foil mocking. The empty cake box. Fork embedded in crusty remnants like a dagger. A single wilted orchid from the venue sample, petals bruised. Locked the door key in the knob. Drove away as stars pricked the sky, radio off. Silence, finally. The screaming shattered 2 days later. Friday dawn as I nursed black coffee in my apartment, boxes half packed for the coast. Margaret's text marathon, holy hell, Lydia. They showed up at 6 a.m., hungover from a Vegas elopement. It's a courthouse quickie, no photos. Realtor met polite but firm. Sold. Folks, they bull rushed the door anyway. Sophia first wailing like a banshee, this is MYOs! Alex bellowing about unlawful eviction. Then, the frame. Margaret swears she heard the gasp from the street. Sophia snatching it up, reading aloud, voice breaking. I wish I'd never ruined my life. Alex grabs it. What the Lydia? Glass shatters. Frame hurled at the wall. Sophia scream primal. That teach. She hates me. Neighbors spilled out in robes. Phones up. Cops rolled in at 6:45. Trespassing call. Your gift went viral by noon. TikToks of the chaos. Reddit threads dissecting. Karma wedding wreck. I scrawled in numb detachment. Bride's mom sells dream home on eve of vows. Inside the toxic twist. Comments a cyclone petty queen. Seek therapy, all of you. Moms like this deserve jail. Sophia's Insta went dark, then exploded. Candid Vegas ringshot caption, love wins anyway. Phenotoxicity. Weeks blurred into salt air and solitude. I'd cashed the bungalow check. 455K minus fees. Funneling it into a trust for me, the cruises I deferred for her braces. The Paris trip postponed for prom dresses. The pottery studio I'd eyed but never enrolled in. Portland, Oregon, a studio apartment overlooking the Columbia River, waves lapping like whispered apologies. Mornings, yoga on the balcony, sun salutations chasing shadows. Afternoons, clay on a wheel at the local co-op, hands sinking into wet earth, shaping vessels from voids. Sophia's call came on a rainy Tuesday, 6 weeks post-scream. Voicemail, voice small as the girl who'd once feared thunderstorms. Mom, it's me. Vegas was a blur. Alex and I fought the whole drive back about money, about us. The house, the frame? I get it now. Sort of, you were hurting too. We could talk, like really talk. I'm sorry. For everything. I played it thrice, thumb hovering over callback. Flashback flooded her at 3, chubby fists clutching my necklace during a fever dream. Don't leave, Mama. I'd stayed, always. But now. Text sent simple, you asked for a gift. I gave it. We're even, Sophia. Live your forever, without anchors. If paths cross someday, coffee. No strings. Love always the complicated kind. Phone off. Wheel spinning. Clay yielding under my palms, formless no more, a bowl, wide-mouthed, ready to hold whatever came next. The worst mother, once maybe. But in the echo of that scream, I'd heard my own freedom's raw cry. And for the first time, it sang.